Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So I want to elaborate a little bit more on what we were discussing earlier today. I came across some clients recently that are fairly young folks and very sharp people. And after talking with them, I started looking into a few items, and it's kind of scary out there for people right now. A lot of folks can't afford groceries. A lot of folks can't afford to pay their bills like they used to, and people are looking for help. So if you will, listen to this video in its entirety. I'm going to try to give you some ideas around how to cut your cost, what you should do right away, and then give you some suggestions on things that may be useful to you. So for number one, when you look up anything online, if you say I'm broke, what can I do right now? And you just put that into a search bar, every single search engine out there is going to send you to a bunch of payday loan sites, a bunch of nonsensical lending options and opportunities for you. Listen, if you can't pay your bills, going deeper into debt is not going to help you anymore. It may help you this month, but next month you're in a worse position you were this month. So number one is, if you're broke, stop taking loans. Stop doing payday loans right away. If you need to sell some stuff, then do that. You can do it on Facebook Marketplace. Watch out for scams. I posted a video on scams earlier, the common scams that are on Marketplace, one in particular. But what you have to do is you need to assess your financial situation. You need to write down your income, how much you have coming in after taxes, so you see what that number is. Then you want to write down every bill you pay each month. So your power bill, or start with your rent or your mortgage, then your power bill, then whatever utilities you pay. Internet should be on there, because in the modern world we have to have internet to do just about anything. And then a cell phone would probably be on there, which I would limit it to that. Okay, so if you have your power bill, your water bill, your gas bill, your internet, and your cell phone. So once you have those on there with your rent, the next thing you want to do is to save some money there. Look and see if you can get as good a service somewhere for cheaper. So for cell phones, for example, if you're paying $80 to $100 a month, find a better cell phone carrier. If you're paying that much, it means most likely you've been with that company for over 10 years, because there's a ton of competitive options now that use the same network that are a fraction of that cost. There are a lot of cell phone options out there currently that are $20 to $30 a month. So look and see if you can do that. That saves you $80 to $100 a month. And if that's the case, that may help you pay for gas or help you pay for groceries in these times that everything's so much more expensive. So if you write down your income, your expenses, what debt you have, and you have that understood, the next thing you want to do is list out your assets. Your assets are things that you own that you could possibly sell to get cash to pay off this debt, to free up more money each month moving forward. Because that should be the expectation. If you don't have any debt, then fantastic. You're doing great, because that puts you better off than the majority of American citizens, right? So if you have debt, that goes in your expenses. You have to pay that each month. So you're going to have to pay that on top of what your initial immediate needs are. When you prioritize your immediate needs, that's focusing on survival, okay? That's your housing, that's your food, that's your water, and those essential bills that we mentioned earlier. And it's hard to say that, but now internet pretty much is an essential bill. In most places, you can get a $30 option for internet. You don't have to pay $100 anymore. It's not what we have to do in this modern century. Even in most rural areas, I live in rural Texas. In most rural areas, you have high-speed internet options that comes with either the landline or some type of Ethernet that is extremely fast enough for people to play video games on. So it's fast enough to do whatever else you need to do on it, right? So prioritize your immediate needs and focus on those needs, paying for those. Cut non-essential spending. That means you're eliminating any unnecessary expenses and focusing on what truly matters. In this is subscriptions, guys. You got to get rid of subscriptions. Subscriptions bleed you out slowly. When I had a gym couple decades ago, the best type of client was one that wanted to come in and sign up on a draft. They come in January and sign up, and I wouldn't see them again until the next January. That means I got 12 months payments for something they didn't even use. Okay, so if you're on something like that, there's some type of subscription that's a monthly payment, cancel all of those. If you're broke and you're worried about paying for gas or paying for food, you got to get rid of those subscriptions. Keep the internet. Get rid of every other subscription. If you're paying for TV subscriptions, that should be the first thing to go. Okay? There's plenty of movies that you can get for free on YouTube. There's plenty of free options that you can watch movies and stuff like that on for entertainment. Entertainment does not have to cost you $75 a month for each one of these subscriptions you're paying for. So cut the subscriptions out. That's cutting non-essential spending. The next thing is, if you have a bunch of debtors, you can contact those creditors on those debts to see if they will allow you to buy that debt out for cheaper, so you can default in a way that says paid as approved, or whatever that may be. It won't hurt your credit as bad, but once again, it'll help you reduce those monthly bills. Okay. The number one thing I would say is create your monthly budget, so you know how much money you need, and then you can see how much you're actually spending. I ask people sometimes when they're asking me to help them with their financial situation, I say, well, how much do you spend each month? And then they'll get to groceries. I'm like, all right, what do you spend in groceries? And they'll say $300. Well, what are you getting for $300 in your groceries? So we'll deep dive grocery receipts. And you'll find out on groceries, for example, there is a huge amount of things that are purchases just because it was on an end cap. Those purchases that have no thought, that you're just getting it because you saw it and thought, that drives that grocery bill up. What I would suggest, if you live next to a grocery store that will actually pick the items for you and you just go and pick it up, do that. Download that service. Do it. It's typically free for like Kroger and H-E-B and grocery stores like that. Walmart, it's free. It's just called grocery store pickup. On that, you'll have a specific list of items that you will buy. That will keep you from buying those items that you didn't have planned and budgeted. That will give you great control over those purchases very quickly if you want to get that under thumb very quickly. And like as fast as this week's grocery bill, you can see a significant savings because you're not making those purchases that were not planned. You're not doing that stuff just based on the moment. Okay, so do that for yourself. Do the planning. That will help you sustain and keep your simple budget. And keep that budget simple. Develop a way where you can manage your finances to better prevent debt from occurring. Okay? When you're borrowing and you're taking out loans, you're just increasing debt. That's not going to help you. That's going to make you poorer. It may help you this month, but then next month and the month after, it's just going to put additional stress on you, and you don't want to do that. The next suggestion they say is seek out government assistance. There's some people that will not do that. Look, if you qualify for food stamps, if you qualify for any of that helps you with your bills and your housing, and you're not trying to live on it and it embarrasses you, you're exactly who should use those programs, because you're not going to stay on them very long. But use them while you need them, okay? There's a ton of people that are awful and use those programs as a lifestyle, and somehow they're allowed to do that. You are not one of those people. Do not be embarrassed because you need some temporary help. That's what the programs are for. That's why I pay taxes, with the expectation for those things to help people like you if you need them. I don't want them to go to the people that live off of it forever. I want them to go for you to help you through this hard time. That's exactly why I pay taxes into those programs. So seek that government assistance that you pay for, because you pay taxes too. You've earned those rights. So seek those programs and use those programs if you qualify for them. The next suggestion here is to contact community agencies. You will be able to find what's in your local area. There's a lot of churches that do things like that. There's love offerings that could happen. If you're active at a church, you may have some of that available. There's also food cupboards and places locally that will let you get food for free. They will give you those things. That's a good way to do it. Another thing to do is buy everything secondhand, guys. Buy your clothes from Goodwill and thrift stores. Thrift stores are getting kind of trendy right now, so the prices are going up. I mean, buy your stuff from Goodwill if it makes sense and it's $4, right? Don't buy anything new. Stop buying stuff online, because if you're doing that, you're doing it with a credit card. If you want to really tighten your budget and control what you're spending, then buy everything with cash. If you're buying with cash, you're much less likely to spend it when it's real dollars in your hand versus if it's a credit card. That's why everybody wants everyone to have a credit card, because you don't police your spending as much. So Stop using the credit card, use cash, and do those things. The biggest thing is you want to challenge what you're saying to yourself. This is just a temporary period of time. If you're in your 20s, you're a teen, 18, 19, living on your own. If you're in your 20s, you may think I'm going to be broke always. That's not true, okay? You're supposed to be broke in your teens and 20s. That's just how life works. You're supposed to be broke at that age. It helps you get experience. It helps you figure out what you need to do to better police your spending and better set up yourself for success in the future. So don't say things and beat yourself up. You have to have control over what you say to yourself. That self-talk is not good for you. It's not healthy. And also it's evil. In the Bible says you're supposed to trust in God, that He's going to provide what you need. And so you should trust in God that He's going to provide what you need. You're not supposed to worry about where the next meal is going to come from or how you're going to pay the bills. But what you want to do is you want to do everything you can to put yourself in a successful position. Number one is don't create new debt. Don't take out loans. Don't do payday loans. All those things have extremely exorbitant interest rates. They want to enslave you to yet one more yoke around your neck. You need to look at all those loans. Every debt is a chain around your neck. Okay, at the end of the day, you want to be able to stand up on your own and be free. And that means no loans. Okay, you want to be able to pay things out as you go. So here's the next piece. If you're underemployed, then sell your things, sell things that you own on Facebook Marketplace. Say clearly in the post, as is, say clearly in the post, local sales only, cash only. If you do all that, you prevent a lot of issues. I've done videos on the common scams for resellers on Facebook, so look at those if you need to. But that's the way you start. If you own a pickup truck, you can start asking people if they need haul off or things like that. If you haul off recyclables, then you can take the recyclables and possibly get money for what those things are. But you can haul off limbs and garbage and things like that. Know what the prices are for dumps in your area and try to do that as an additional job on the side or a side hustle. Recyclables is another way to make some money. The next thing you can do is, when I was a kid, people would buy lawnmowers and cut people's lawns. You can do that for now $50 a lawn, $60 a lawn. If you do that and cut 4 lawns on a Saturday, you just had a big Saturday. Okay, and if you're working 3 or 4 days a week and doing that on Saturday, then great. You're able to make that much more money. Next thing would be buy furniture and stuff that you can fix up and then sell it. If you can buy it for $5, clean it up, make it look good, and sell it for $20, great. If you can sell it for $50, great. Do that through Marketplace. That way it doesn't cost you a lot of money. If your city or your town has a trash pickup day, drive around before the trash truck gets there. See if you can pick things up out of people's trash that you can resell and get going. Here's the point that I want to make about this. Leave your pride on the floor when you leave. You're hustling. All these things I'm talking about are hustling where you're trying to do better for yourself and your family. There is nothing to be ashamed about that. Okay? I have a nephew that has a trash business. He is a genius. He got in that right out of high school, figured out that it was a fantastic business, and now pays his way in this world running a trash business he owns. It's absolutely friggin' brilliant. He didn't worry about what other people think because it doesn't matter what other people think. At the end of the day, if there's a way for you to make a living and make life more comfortable for you where you don't have to put yourself in debt, but you can pay things off, then do that. If you're in a couple that live together or are married, young couple, if one of you can work a job that's a sales job where you have the opportunity to earn commissions, then do that. When you're interviewing for those jobs, ask in the job interview, what is the average commission made here monthly by the people that work here now? Find out the tenure of those people. If the commission workforce has been there for 4 and 5 years as a whole, and on average they make a pretty good number, you know it's a great sales gig to get because the commissions are solid and that's sustainable. If you do that, you're going to be able to earn more than what you would in just an hourly job. If you have the option to take an hourly job versus a salary job, but it's the same, it has the same benefits, and you're guaranteed that you're going to get nearly 40 hours a week and you can do that hour, then do that. Because then you get paid overtime. All right. You get paid time and a half, where if you're in a salary, you're exempt and you don't get paid that way. So you need to think about those things, because that can be a big difference in what you earn in a year. If you're getting paid salary where you can't make overtime, or you're getting paid hourly where you can make overtime and get holiday pay and time and a half and all that, it could be 10 to 15 grand more a year by just doing the same gig hourly. Okay, so if somebody can get a sales job where they can earn some commissions, if somebody can get an hourly job where they're getting a lot of overtime, those are two great ways to bolster your income and make things month to month easier for you. The other things I would suggest is buying a place versus renting, even if it's a small trailer on a half acre. Okay, if it's got a good roof and a good floor and a good AC and heating unit and it's safe in a safe place, that's fantastic. If you can get that for $400 to $500 a month, and rent in that area is $1,000 to $1,500 a month, look at the difference. You're saving $1,000 a month. Okay, that's $12,000 a year you could be putting away to get you debt free. You could be putting away to pay for education. You could be putting away to be free at some point, right, from paying rent and paying a mortgage. That should be your goal. But if you need to do something right now because you're broke right now, you got to look at what you've got. If you've got a leaf blower, if you've got a lawnmower, and you've got a pickup truck, start cutting grass for people on the weekends. Okay? Find gigs online on Facebook Marketplace. Sell stuff that you can buy cheap and sell for a little more. Okay, go thrifting. Look at people's garbage on garbage day and take the things that are very nice. People sometimes throw great stuff away because they got something new and they don't have room, because they don't want to pay for a storage building. Okay, it's the stupidest thing on earth is people that own stuff that they never use, but they keep it in a storage building for 10 years. That makes no sense to me. You're paying a monthly bill for crap that you're never going to use again. Just sell the crap that you're never going to use again. Get it gone. Sell it off. That way it's not an issue. So hopefully this is helpful. I know a lot of people are going through some hard times right now. I'll start doing some more content on this if it becomes popular. It's something people want to see, because I've helped quite a few people get out of bad straits on their own. And, being broke is a temporary situation. Use everything. You got to be aggressive. You got to fight like an animal. If you're broke and you're in a situation where you and your family are in harm's way every month, you got to fight like a rabid animal to get out of that. Use everything at your disposal. If you qualify for state programs, use them. If you got fired from a job, file for unemployment the very next day. All these programs, you pay taxes for these programs, okay? You're not a bum because you're using them. The people that live off of it forever, those are the bums, all right? Then if you can do this and do better, create a side hustle where you can earn more money, get out of renting stuff. If you live in a place where rent is ridiculous, move somewhere else or commute. Okay, get far enough away where your lifestyle is not limited by the rent in that area. I did that. I used to drive an hour and a half one way to work because I could make more money in the city, but I paid a third as much to live rurally, so I just spent 3 extra hours a day in the commute. Yes, that will wear you out, but if you do it for 2 years' time and you're making twice the money at a third the expense, you get free very quick. Okay, so that's the thought process, is you can suffer, you can deal with a lot for however long you have to, but you want to change your situation as quickly as you can when you're in this situation. Just remember, you're supposed to be broke when you're young. Broke's a temporary situation. And if you got fired and you went unemployed for a while and you're trying to bounce back, just remember, it's a temporary situation. Nothing lasts forever. Okay, so stop beating yourself up. It happens. It's part of life. Stop beating yourself up. Your financial situation is something that you can improve. Do everything you can. Just make a good decision every day. Meal prep as often as you can, because if you do that, you're not going to stop and spend more money. And that's the other thing. On the commute to and from work, go straight to work and go straight home. If you're doing that, you're not buying a $5 drink and a $3 candy bar or something like that. And that stuff adds up to hundreds of dollars a month. Commute straight to and straight from. Do not stop. I smoke cigars to and from work. That keeps me from stopping anywhere else. So come up with your own things that's going to save you money over time. And these things should help you get out of the situation. I wish you the best. Do all that you can. Be tenacious. Fight like a rabid animal. Get out of the hole. And do those things that are smart. Don't do hard stuff. Don't make it harder on yourself by having ego about things and being embarrassed. Nobody cares what you're going through. Nobody's going to help you. You have to save yourself. I'm Ben. Be good.